Imagine entering the ocean beside an animal powerful enough to overpower a great white shark, challenge the largest whale on Earth, and disable a sailing vessel. You would seem helpless beside it. Yet in the wild, orcas have shown an extraordinary reluctance to treat people as prey. That contrast is the key to understanding them. Their story is not simply about strength. It is about intelligence, family, learned traditions, and an astonishing ability to control immense power. The name killer whale creates an image of a mindless monster, but the name began with sailors who watched orcas hunting much larger whales. They described them as whale killers, and over time the words were reversed. Even the word whale can be misleading. Orcas are actually the largest members of the dolphin family. Their scientific identity places them among toothed whales, but their closest familiar relatives are dolphins. An adult male can grow almost 10 meters long and weigh close to 10 metric tons. His dorsal fin may rise nearly 2 meters above his back. That fin contains no supporting bone. It is made largely from connective tissue and helps with stability and heat control. Beneath the surface, a streamlined body allows an orca to accelerate rapidly, while a thick layer of insulating fat protects it in cold water. Large, inward curving teeth can seize powerful prey, but those teeth are only one part of a much more sophisticated hunting system. The famous black and white pattern is useful camouflage. From above, the dark back merges with deep water. From below, the pale underside blends with the bright surface. White markings also disrupt the outline of the body, making speed, direction, and size harder for prey to judge. Rare individuals are almost completely white, but most orcas carry the pattern recognized across the world. Few mammals occupy such an enormous range. Orcas travel through polar seas, temperate coasts, and warm tropical waters. Their bodies regulate heat efficiently, allowing different populations to thrive in radically different environments. Supporting that body requires a great deal of food, and across the species, orcas have been observed eating an enormous variety of animals. But an individual pod usually does not hunt everything it could. Families specialize. Some pods pursue fish. Others hunt seals, sea lions, dolphins, sharks, or whales. This specialization is one of the first clues that an orca is shaped as much by education as by instinct. A young animal learns what counts as food by watching its family. It also learns where to search, how to approach, and exactly which technique will work in its home waters. Against sharks, some orcas exploit tonic immobility. By turning a shark upside down, they can leave it temporarily helpless. Observations in South Africa revealed great white carcasses with their energy-rich livers removed. The effect reaches beyond a single hunt. When orcas arrive, surviving sharks may abandon an area for weeks or months. The ocean's most famous predator gives way to a coordinated family of dolphins. Even a blue whale is not always beyond their reach. Groups have been documented surrounding whales far larger than any one attacker. Different members take different positions, exhausting the target and preventing escape. The important point is not violence but organization. Each animal appears to understand a role, adjust to its companions, and continue a strategy that only works through cooperation. That coordination becomes even clearer around ice. When a seal rests on a floating sheet, several orcas may line up and swim together, creating a wave that washes over the ice. In Argentina, another population has learned intentional stranding. An orca rides the surf onto the beach to seize a sea lion, then twists back toward the water. The maneuver is dangerous and depends on local knowledge. Mothers demonstrate it while younger animals practice. A mistake could leave the hunter trapped on land. Orcas also adapt to human activity. In fishing regions, they have learned that the sound of a boat's hauling equipment can announce an easy meal. They may approach long lines and remove fish before the catch reaches the vessel. This is problem solving in real time. Recognize a mechanical sound, connect it to food, arrive at the correct moment, and pass the discovery through the group. Their brains help explain this flexibility. An orca brain is much larger than a human brain, although size alone does not measure intelligence. More revealing are the highly developed regions involved in social awareness, emotion, memory, and communication. Orcas learn calls associated with their families and use distinct vocal patterns. In the immense darkness of the ocean, sound carries identity. A call can announce who is present and which community that animal belongs to. Neighboring groups may live in the same water and still remain socially separate. In the Pacific Northwest, fish-eating residents and mammal-eating bigs orcas follow different diets, travel patterns, and vocal traditions. They do not simply respond to whatever food happens to be nearby. Their behavior is inherited socially. In other words, orcas possess culture, knowledge maintained through teaching, imitation, and memory. Culture also appears in play. Orcas have been seen carrying or rubbing pieces of kelp across their bodies, sometimes participating together. A behavior can spread through a population because others copy it, much like a fashion. Play matters because it strengthens relationships, encourages experimentation, and shows that not every action is driven by hunger. Many orca societies are centered on mothers and grandmothers. Sons and daughters may remain with their maternal family for life. Older females can survive decades after they stop reproducing. A rare pattern among mammals, their continued presence provides a powerful advantage. A grandmother may remember where salmon gathered during an earlier shortage, which route is safest, or how the family survived unusual conditions. Her memory becomes a living map for younger generations. These bonds are not abstract. In 2018, a southern resident mother known as Tahlequah lost her newborn calf. For more than 2 weeks, she carried the body through the water, repeatedly lifting it when it slipped away. Other family members stayed near her. The long journey was widely interpreted as mourning, offering a painful view of the depth and duration of orca attachment. This social and sensory world helps answer the central mystery. Why do wild orcas not normally hunt us? One explanation is simple recognition. Orcas do not depend only on vision. Echolocation lets them send clicks into the water and interpret the returning echoes. Those echoes reveal shape, movement, and internal differences. A human does not sound like a fat, streamlined seal. Even when visibility is poor, an orca has information that a sight-dependent hunter may lack. There have been rare encounters in which wild orcas made physical contact with people, including a reported bite involving a surfer in turbulent water. What stands out is the immediate release. An animal capable of catastrophic force did not continue. Whatever triggered the first contact, further sensory information appears to have stopped it. That suggests discrimination and restraint, not a universal mystical rule, but a reliable pattern supported by the historical record. The same distinction matters in the recent encounters with sailboats near the Iberian Peninsula. Orcas have repeatedly contacted rudders, sometimes damaging vessels badly enough that they could no longer navigate. The behavior is dangerous for sailors, but the animals focus on the moving part of the boat rather than the people aboard. Possible explanations include play, curiosity, practice, or a socially transmitted trend. Scientists continue to study it, and a dramatic headline should not be mistaken for proof of revenge. Captivity tells a darker and very different story. A free-ranging orca lives in a vast acoustic landscape, travels long distances, and remains connected to a family with its own dialect. In a small artificial enclosure, sound reflects from hard walls, movement is restricted, and unrelated animals may be forced together. Social conflict, damaged teeth, abnormal repetitive behavior, and collapsed dorsal fins reveal the strain of that environment. The history of Tilikum shows the human cost as well. Captured when young and confined for decades, he was involved in 3 deaths. Those tragedies cannot be understood by pretending that wild and captive conditions are equivalent. They occurred inside a system that removed a highly social, wide-ranging animal from nearly every condition its mind and body had evolved to expect. The lesson is not that orcas are harmless. It is that intelligence and power become dangerously distorted when confinement destroys choice, space, and social stability. Freedom does not remove every threat. Ship noise can mask the calls and echoes orcas use to communicate and hunt. Persistent chemicals accumulate in their blubber and can damage reproduction and immunity. Some fish-eating populations face declining salmon runs, forcing families with ancient dietary traditions into hunger. Climate change alters prey and habitat while increasing pressure across the marine food web. Indigenous communities of the Pacific Northwest have long regarded orcas as relatives and fellow societies, an understanding modern research is only beginning to approach through data. Seen this way, the orca is neither a villain nor a gentle fantasy. It is a powerful predator, a devoted family member, a cultural learner, and a conscious participant in its environment. The deepest mystery is not whether an orca could harm a person. Of course it could. The remarkable fact is how often it chooses not to. In an ocean where survival can be brutal, the strongest hunter demonstrates that power is more than the ability to attack. Power also includes perception, judgment, cooperation, memory, and restraint. Protecting orcas therefore means more than preserving an impressive species. It means making room for another intelligent culture to continue its life beneath the waves.